Hello everybody and welcome to another video. So we're going to be looking at my Hero to Zero army, the Skaven. I'm going to be showing you where I'm at right now. Basically this is the first sort of video log of the army, and yeah, and what the plan is going forward. So get a brew, get comfortable, and let's get looking at some rats. So yeah, part 2 of my Hero to Zero series, or Zero to Hero, whichever one you want to say it. Probably going to be the Zero, to be fair. So yeah, I picked Skaven, or should I say that you helped me pick Skaven. So if anyone who hasn't watched part 1 of what this is, basically as a quick recap, I asked my community to help me pick an army so I can learn, collect and play the army and ultimately take it to podium glory at Age of Sigmar events. And yeah, so I had one stipulation basically, is that, you know, that it had to be an army, or I asked the question, pick any faction, or had to be an army that I'd never played before or collected. And the people doing the poll voted for an army that I've never collected before, so I ended up collecting Skaven. So I started off by getting that starter box that's just behind me, which is a really good value starter box, to be completely honest. I think it's like £55, and you get like a good chunk of Skaven in there. I also have picked up Kritok, which you may have seen on Instagram in me painting, and I got a couple of other bits and pieces this last week. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera and let you have a look, and I'm going to show you basically what I've been working on, where the army is at right now, all of the rats that I have built, and what I've got planned for the painting, and then I'll sort of talk about what I plan to do to expand on this, and slowly work towards that 2,000 point army. But let's get the camera sorted and we'll have a little look. Okay, so here is the rats all built. So as you can see, I've got Kritok, which is, you know, he is painted. Quite happy with him. He's such a really cool model, and obviously, you know, the new Storm Vermin are just so cool. So this is basically everything. I've obviously been working on my rat ogres. There is a tutorial for the red coming. In fact, the model is built and ready for priming. I also have another tutorial, but I need to paint the model first, and it's going to be doing the glow, so the green glow from the ball, and I figured that this Globadier is probably the best one for it. I actually got a unit of 5 of these. I'm going to talk a little bit about these shortly. Then there will be obviously a painting tutorial for this guy, because this is a really nice Greyseer model. So yeah, so painting wise, the rat ogres are almost done. Just finishing off the last bits of detail on them, and then they'll be getting based, good to go. And then this one is just getting finished off. There's a painting tutorial up on the channel right now for the rusty blades if you want to go and watch that, which I'm just doing on here. And then these guys will be finished. He's almost done. A couple of edge highlights, the tail, and you know, a few little bits and pieces on there to do. So yeah, they're all done. So obviously I've got 20 clan rats. They're the sort of ones from the Skaven Tide box, but they do come in the starter set. Super good, 20 odd models, which is kind of cool. So like I said, yeah, I got a box of 5 Globadiers, and there's a reason for that, and they're kind of cool, and the weapon team rule and how that works with the army. I got 10 Storm Vermin, and I also got this big thing as well. Because one, it looks really cool, and it's got some really funny rules, which is kind of really awesome. And there is also a Warlock Engineer, who I have been painting on stream. So I'm quite happy with how he's turning out. So I'm working on him now, and yeah, he's pretty cool. But he works really well with that. So this is basically about 1,110 points built to start, like, really delving into, which is really kind of cool. So we'll have a look at what I'm going to do to sort of expand upon this. But like I said, yeah, painting tutorials. There's going to be a red one for the Storm Vermin, a sort of glow for this Globadier, and I'm thinking of maybe doing one for this guy, just because of all of the metallics and stuff. But this is a pretty big model. So I'm going to have a little look and a little think about that. So that's basically where I'm at with the army, and I think it's pretty good. I mean, like I said, it's about 1,110 points. That's not really including any enhancements or proper regiments or anything like that. And I'm not really sort of thought about what to get. I've kind of just got things that I kind of like. Now, other than the Globadiers I kind of specifically picked out because of how they work. They've got a really cool mechanic, as well as a lot of the sort of weapon teams from the sort of Scryer type thing. Basically, they kind of can't be targeted unless you're within 13 inches of them, if they're within combat range of a unit of clan rats. Now, my idea is to expand that unit of clan rats out to a unit of 40 and have maybe 1 or 2 units of Globadiers, probably 1 unit of Globadiers, kicking around them. They kind of gives them some shooting. You can't really target them with any of your ranged weapons, and they're kind of could be used as a half decent screen for anybody trying to charge in to do the sort of the commanding fire as the overwatch as you charge in, and then the clan rats can then basically hit you. Or they can kind of sort of hang around the clan rats and give the clan rats some fire support, which is kind of the idea. Not too sure how that'll work in regards to on the tabletop, but I'm sure when I actually start getting played a couple of 1,000-point games, that will kind of work. The really big gun, the Warp Blaster thing, that thing's just mental. It has like a 3d6 plus 3 shot profile, which is pretty decent, and it's not a bad amount of damage that comes out of it. Now, if there is a Scryer hero within 13 inches of it, you get to roll 6d6 plus 3, but the caveat to that is if any rolls of 1 to hit causes a mortal wound on you, but that's very Skaven and very fun. But the idea of just throwing potentially 21 attacks out is just nuts. So yeah, that's kind of cool. But what I'm planning on doing next is I want to get this. Now, this is the Skaven Skaven Spearhead. Now, it does come with the 20 clan rats, which I want, because I need to bring that up to 40. It comes with another Grey Seer, but he's a kind of a cool looking Grey Seer model. I kind of like him, so it's a nice alternative Grey Seer to have. Always cool. Comes with a Warp Lightning Cannon, which is just basically a big ass gun that pumps out mortal damage. Now, they're not as crazy as they used to be. You don't necessarily, if you have a Scryer hero within 3, you get to do more shots potentially, and you do more damage, and you can like do damage to yourself. But you know, you could kind of keep that hero sort of floating outside of the 3, and then when you really need to, sort of step in and then do that big sort of crazy blast. But the biggest thing about this box is it's got the 3 Storm Fiends. Now, I would like to have a unit of 6 Storm Fiends at some stage. That is about 520 points in total for a unit of 6 models. So it's pretty expensive. So yeah, there is that. Now, obviously, there are the sort of bigger character type rats. Obviously, there's Visic, there's Thanquil, and then there's the Vermin Lords. The Vermin Lords are about 330 points. So I know that I need about 500 points for the Storm Fiends. Then it kind of sort of, you have this question is, are you going to take the Rat Ogres? I could potentially drop the Rat Ogres and bring in some more infantry or some more guns. But then that's kind of turning in the army into more of a Scryer army, and I kind of want to do more of a Vermilion. So using more of the Storm Vermin. So I do want another unit of Storm Vermin. So to either to run 2 units of 10 or at least 1 unit of 20. So I'm kind of thinking maybe if I do that, I might get the Vermin Lord that is for the sort of Storm Vermin one. Kind of has the red looking armor and stuff. That would be kind of cool. Now, there are obviously regiments of renown. in there, or armies of renown in there, and you can have one for Thanquil, which is all about the monsters, sounds really really fun. Or you can have a regiment around with Visick and having him. He basically kind of is everything is about buffing him, and your army is essentially you have free reign of the buck basically. So there's always that as well. But I think from now I've got like 1,000 points, 1,100 points. I can start playing games. I can start learning the army, getting the army mechanics learned, which is good. And start getting the reps in as I slowly start working through all of these rats. The harder part now for the painting side is to try to find an easy, effective way of doing all the clan rats that isn't going to absolutely bust me, because this is where the make or break is. And they are essentially a sort of horde army, especially if you go down the clan rat route. I will be doing a video on the clan rats versus storm vermin, you know, the big debate of which one is good and which one isn't. I personally like them both. I'm a big fan of storm vermin. I think they look great. The new miniatures are really, really good. So I'll be looking at sort of how that fits in with various lists that I've got in mind. One of the things I do enjoy about the new Skaven book, after reading for quite a few times now, is the fact that there is certain elements of it that are really, really cool, and that the fact that each sort of clan has a very distinct theme, and you can build into that heavily, or you can kind of have like a combined arms sort of part, like the molder stuff of having all of the mutated monsters and master molders sort of buffing the hell out of them is really kind of cool. The Scryer crazy tech army is really cool, and then you've sort of got the militaristic army type army of the storm vermin and all of that kind of stuff, which is kind of sweet. The only thing that I find that is kind of lacking, but I do think will sort of get improved on over in the next edition, is Clan Eshin and the Plague Monks. They're obviously, like Clan Eshin, like they've only got really one new model, and that is the Deathmaster. But they're like Night Runners and stuff models are like over 30 odd years old, probably even older. And they're not great, so I will imagine that they will probably get updated in 5th edition, or possibly a big sort of push into the pestilent side, and all the plague monks and everything else. I do kind of, because they did have that Underworlds warband that kind of updated a lot of them, which is kind of sweet. So yeah, there's some really pretty cool, interesting stuff in the army. So I think I know roughly the direction I want to go in. And it's just a matter of now of getting that spearhead, bringing that in, increasing that clan rat unit up to 40. I think that's the sweet spot for them, having a nice big block of 40, and then looking at maybe getting that unit of 6 storm vermin, because the storm fiend, sorry, because they're really, really good. They're quite close combat, and they've got a decent amount of shooting as well, which is pretty decent. They're not as probably as oppressively horrible as they used to be, which is good, but they seem to be a nice element of fun now, which is really, really good. And then it's just a matter of now getting games in it, and getting the games in, and get playing them and getting learning. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting to sort of try them. Again, I've never played Skaven before. I've never collected Skaven. I'm having a fun time painting them. And I'm going to be looking forward to getting them on the table. But that's the plan. That's part 2. So there's going to be obviously a couple of painting videos. The red armor on the Storm Vermin unit leader. I'm going to be painting a global deer, and then doing the glow and everything else on that. And then I'm going to do a painting video on that Grey Seer, because that Grey Seer model is really, really cool. And if there's any other videos that you want me to do for the army, let me know in the comments below, and I can get them sort of looked into and get them done. But ultimately, that's it. If I get Visick, which I probably will, may do a video painting series on him, because he is such a cool big model. But I definitely want Thanquil, because Thanquil is one of my favourite Skaven characters from reading all the Gotrek and Felix novels. So I will be getting him, and may well do a sort of painting series on him too, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that's the video. So if you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And I will see you all in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.